Welcome to the first round of the Welcome to Road Atlanta tonight. We are live here for the 6th round of the championship of the SimRacingPoints.com Sportscar Challenge. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Dean Dicesare. Dean, it's going to be a great race, and these drivers are on qualifying right now, and it's going to be an exciting event as William Reinhard tries to chase down Nick Dicesare.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be exciting. Reinhard on a roll here. He's looking for a triple here after winning 2 in a row. To the top of the board, too, so he's not showing any signs of slowing down here, Jared.
Exactly right. Sorry about the little technical difficulty there at the beginning, but these guys on their qualifying laps, William Reinhard at the top of the board currently, will bring those up. But we come into this race, and you see we got 13 drivers making the grid tonight. Couple new drivers out here. You might recognize them from other Full Throttle TV events. Richie Coy out here tonight as well for the first time this season. So good to see him. Also Chris Stouffer out there. I think this is actually his second event here. So this is going to be interesting to see. But you look at the top of the board, Dean, it's Reinhard, and Dicesare is half a second down here in open qualifying.
Man, it's just no surprise from what we've seen out of Reinhard. He's committed himself to this series, and it's paying off. I mean, he's getting progressively better and better. And another guy to look out for, Kuntz slides in right behind him now. So Kuntz looking pretty good out there, and we know he always gets better as the race goes along.
Yeah, he does. And these drivers out here right now putting in their laps. We take a look at the championship standings coming into tonight's event, and you'll see it there on your screen. Nick Dicesare leading the way with 209 points. He still has a 33-point advantage over William Reinhard, but that advantage has come down from 57 to 33 over the past 3 races. And Dicesare has been having some good finishes, Dean, but Reinhard has just been coming and coming and coming. And then you also have Matt Kuntz back there as well. That it could be a factor. Joe Flanagan, Eric Bergdorf, your top 5.
Yeah, top 5 are right there. And then, from 5th through to, 8th, 9th, 10th even. Quite a little battle here. So we'll see what these guys can do. I look for a guy like Lane Allen out here tonight to have a good night. He really likes the Road Atlanta racing. So I'm expecting big things out of Lane Allen.
Yeah, Lane Allen right now 7th on the board here. But Lane 8th in points. Just 2 points separating him and Tony Solari. Also Theo Taylor back in that mix as well. Mike Watts in that mix. Luke Hantanaka in that mix. So we got some points shuffling that could take place here tonight, and that's going to be exciting to see. We look at this coming into this race tonight. A couple things. The GT cars, lots of updates on these cars. The drivers were allowed to switch to a different manufacturer because of the changes, but nobody took up that option, Dean.
Yeah, no real surprise. Guys are pretty comfortable at this point with what they're driving. Make a mid-season switch is a little different. I mean, maybe a bit of a surprise. There might be an advantage out there to someone if they searched around, but comfortability, and lasting these races, hour and a half out here on the track, a long time, you got to be comfortable with what you're driving. And
you look at some of the surprises on the board right now, Dean. Eric Bergdorf back in 11th. Josh Wilkie, who we've seen be very dominant. He was fastest in practice last night, as we talked about at the top of the show. We're on board with him now. He's getting a good hot lap in right now, but he is 11th on the board with only a minute and a half left. This is basically going to be his lap right here.
Yeah, he's got to complete this lap, and he's looking pretty good through here, but I'm not sure. Old 007 secret agent, can he pull off a little secret lap here at the end of qualifying?
Yeah, he's starting his outlap, or finishing his outlap right now, so here is his lap. Right now, William Reinhard might be able to get around to the line. We'll bring up the track map here to show you guys where everybody is at on the track. They basically have to hit that line by the 9.5 minute mark. So we still have several drivers. Wilkie's gone off, so that's going to pretty much end his chance at improving his time with only 45 seconds left. Looks like Richie Coy and Chris Stouffer, Nick Dicesare all trying to get another lap in right now.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, you talk about surprise on the board. You got Solari down at 9th. Wilkie in 11th, definitely. Bergdorf 12th. These are all surprises. Flanagan in 8th. I mean, it's a tough field, though. I mean, you look up to fourth, the top three, we recognize them all the time. And in fourth, Theo Taylor, fast driver, had Tanaka in fifth. He's looking, he's pretty good. Watts, Allen, they're all very evenly matched, in my opinion. And it's going to be interesting to see how the race plays out. The top three usually battling, and then a middle 5 or 6 guys battling. It should be interesting.
And there you go. So qualifying is over. So everybody on their final lap right now. They will have a minute 50 to complete their laps here. Looks like Richie Coy abandoning his lap. Chris Stouffer going to go on through here. But that is only 900ths of a second between Reinhard and Dicesare. So Dicesare found some speed, just not quite enough. Reinhard does not get that lap done. Or no, he does. He does. He goes a 17-1. Very quick lap by Reinhard there on the last little go.
Yeah, Reinhard out here, extending his lead late and really putting it to Dicesare. I don't think Dicesare can make up, 0.3 seconds here, but anything's possible.
Stouffer will be the first driver across the line. We still have, it looks like, all the way down to Mike Watts possibly going to get a lap, complete a lap here. Stouffer goes across the line, and he does not improve his time. Our next guy up is going to be Theo Taylor. Theo Taylor does not improve his time. He'll line up fourth. Matt Kuntz trying to come across the line here in the next 50 seconds here. No, he's going on pit road, abandoning his lap. And we got Mike Watts coming off the last corner here. He is currently shown in 6th position. Can he improve on his time? Does not look like he's going to be able to. He will line up 6th as well. And that will do it for qualifying, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, no huge surprises here. Reinhardt back on top of the board, looking to make it 3 in a row. This man has really ironed out any issues he had. He's always had speed. He had a couple of mistakes earlier on in the season. He's got that all whittled away the last 2 times out. I look for him once again to be mistake-free. Dicesare and Kuntz are going to have to do something special here tonight.
33 points. You get 35 points for winning a race. There's also a bonus for fastest lap. There's a bonus for pole, and there's a bonus for less than 3 incidents. So there is some opportunity to pick up some points for Reinhard, but it's going to be tough if Dicesare continues to finish in second or third like he has the last couple of races. But let's get into our grid here tonight and take a look at how everybody is lining up here tonight. So on your front row is going to be William Reinhard for Hometown Heroes Racing. Alongside him is Nick Dicesare, 2/10 off the pace there. Row number 2 is going to be Matt Kuntz and Theo Taylor for Proton Boogie Sim Sports. And row number 3 is going to be Luke Tanaka and Mike Watts, Dean.
Yeah, that's going to be put Lane Allen and Joe Flanagan in row number 4. Tony Solari, Christopher in 5, Wilkie and Burdoff in 6, and Coy going to ride around the back here and see if he can't pick up some pointers on the track and make up some positions as he goes along.
Yeah, Richie Coy, a late addition to the racing tonight, but glad to have him on board. And Richie is a great road racer, but he has basically told me that he has limited experience in the cars, but is excited to run. He's ran a couple races last season here, but be interested to see what he can do as these drivers are about to get this thing lined up. Dean, we take a look at how this race usually transpires. We usually have a couple pit stops in this race, but it seems like everybody, the strategy we've only seen Matt Kuntz really go out on a limb on strategy.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of strategy, a little bit from Flanagan, taking tires a lot on his first stop. But we'll see tonight. I mean, Road Atlanta, really tricky track out here. Kind of high speed through some of these corners. Tires might be a concern. Well, we'll find out here as we go along.
And that is a really good thing you brought up, Dean. They have updated the tires. So this is the first race that they have changed the tires to degrade a little bit more, because there was a lot of people felt like the tires didn't really matter in even a 3 or 4 hour race. So I think that we might see the first time some tire degradation come into play, and maybe we'll see how that works here in the 90 minutes. But a beautiful day at Road Atlanta. This race is time accelerated, so it will end right about dusk. So we will see a little bit of darkness here at the end of this race. But again, Dean, you look at it, it seems like a repeat of Montreal last week in Canada. 2 Fords on the front row, But this week we have 3 Ferraris in the field with Mike Watts and Richie Coy also in a Ferrari. So we actually have a lot of Ferraris, but still nobody in the BMW here tonight.
No one choosing the BMW. But interesting here how the different cars are separated.
This is going to be a great passing zone at the top of this this hill there. This is the longest straightaway coming out of this corner. And this is going to be a good area to get some passing done right through here and going into those last couple corners there, Dean. I expect we're going to have a really good race, but I expect that we're going to see a lot of action down into turn 11 down here.
Yeah, definitely going to see a lot of action down there. I mean, there's a couple of action spots on the track. Really, the whole track as a whole can produce action because your entry points are so important to get you through the whole section of the corner. So anybody who's a little bit off on their entry is going to open the door, and you're going to see guys make attempts here through some of these high-speed sections and make some passes.
Heading down into this turn A, 10A and 10B complex, and then 11 at the top of the hill, 12 the fast right-hander back onto the front straightaway. Road Atlanta, a very great track, and has been a host to the Petit Lemans for 60 years. And this is the Sportscar Challenge Petit Lemans tonight. William Reinhard, Nick Dicesare, our top 2 in points, will lead them down. Pace car is off, coming off turn 11 into turn 12. Reinhard will lead him down. And green flag is out here at Road Atlanta.
And Reinhard is gone. It's going to be Kuntz and Taylor battling for 3rd and 4th.
Coming through the tight turn 1. Everybody doing a good job down the hill. A little battling back there. That's Bergdorf making a big move on Solari.
Yeah, Bergdorf trying to get some action done here early on and get a couple of spots up there.
Lane Allen also making a move. He did not have a good start. Down 2 spots. Hantanaka down 3 spots. Chris Stouffer aggressive. Right on the back of his back bumper of his teammate Joe Flanagan. Up 3 spots already. And we got an accident. That's Matt Kuntz has slid off.
Wow, and everybody just missing them. Kuntz with early problems. Disaster for Matt Kuntz.
And somebody did clip the right front of that Porsche, but we will take a replay as soon as this lap is, as soon as things get settled down here. But I don't think it was a very hard impact to the driver that got him. But Kuntz dropping all the way back to the back of the grid. He's going to have his work cut out for him. That's going to put Theo Taylor up to 3rd place in the Proton Boogie SimSport Porsche.
Yeah, awesome for Theo. And looking back a couple of more. Chris Stouffer up 5 spots already, Jared. What is he doing out here? Aggressive
on the start, and he is doing a great job. We saw him have a great battle with Josh Wilkie last week at Montreal for the last spot on the podium. Just missed out on it, but the top 10 drivers, top 11 drivers, all in a group right now.
Well, you say that, but I mean, Reinhardt kind of in a world of his own already. Now, Dicesare trying to hang on to him, but damn, Reinhardt looking for 3 in a row, opening up already a 2.5 gap.
And he is looking for the fastest lap. He's got the pole already, so that's 2 points in his pocket. But it's gonna be a slow, methodical gain on Nick Dicesare at the rate he's going. He needs Theo Taylor to get up there and race with Dicesare. Theo Taylor very quick in practice, battling back here. Tony Solari and Eric Bergdorf both get around Josh Wilkie. Wilkie not finding his rhythm already, Dean. He was been on a tear as well, except for the first 2 races where he had a computer problem, an internet problem that set him back. He's been very good since then, and now he's back there at 11th place, racing with Bergdorf down into turn 10.
Yeah, he's not content to be back here. He's going to try and make this move happen, and we'll see if frustration gets the better of him or not.
Down into turn 10, Bergdorf lets him go. So smart move by Eric. He does not want to make that battle right now. So Wilkie sporting that beautiful new paint scheme for Hometown Heroes Racing. And really awesome to see that kind of paint. Eric Bergdorf also with a brand new patriotic paint scheme for September 11th as we are racing on that faithful day here tonight. But up front, it is all William Reinhard. The gap 1.5 seconds, and Chris Stouffer has moved into 4th, making a move on Mike Watts, his teammate.
Stouffer, unbelievable today. He is just pushing towards the front. He could be a threat for a win here the way he's driving tonight.
Well, he's been on a roll, one on one of our other broadcasts earlier in the week at Darlington. So if you can get your way around Darlington, I think Road Atlanta might be a little bit easier of a challenge. And Chris Stouffer moving forward. Big battle behind him. Joe Flanagan under pressure from Luke Cantanaka and Lane Allen looking good. Dean, you talked about Lane Allen in that Chevrolet. He likes this track. He's done very well here in past events, whether it's the open wheel stuff or the GT3 stuff. Lane Allen's going to always be a force to be reckoned with on Road Atlanta.
He is. And with Lane, it's always usually the same question is how aggressive will he be? You know, we see him on the start, not that aggressive, loses a couple of spots. He's already gained one back, but you know, he's apt to ride around here and play it safe, which people love. But if he wants to get up here and get a podium, he's going to have to be a little more aggressive here tonight.
Battle back behind them. That's Tony Solari, Josh Wilkie. Wilkie dummies into turn one. Solari doesn't buy it. Solari does buy it, goes off track.
Yeah, it did affect Solari, and off he goes. He's going to fall right to the back here. Well, Richie Coy is still riding around the back, just turning laps out here. But Solari, this is not good for him. I'm sure he expected quite a good finish here tonight.
Tough break for Tony Solari. He just barely got his tires on the grass, Dean. And once you do that, I mean, you're understeering or it's over with oversteer. Luckily, he didn't spin out. So the two Fury Motorsports drivers drop to the back of the grid right now. William Reinhard up front. 1.5. Gap hasn't changed much. But Dean, you look. Theo Taylor not getting smaller in Nick Dicesare's mirror.
Yeah, Theo Taylor, you know, much like Stouffer, he's riding around here. He's doing great lap times, and he's looking like he could challenge as well. I mean, he put up a 1:18.39. That's a pretty darn good lap right behind our top two.
Looking at the time delta across the line, it is actually increased that lap from 1.47 to 1.56. So a little bit of more speed from Nick Dicesare in that Ford up front. But it's right now Ford, Porsche, and then the three Ferrari teammates on Pepto Racing, Flanagan, Watts, and Stouffer right there on that list there from 4th to 6th. And Stouffer is coming. He is not the fastest driver on the track. That's still William Reinhard.
Yeah, Reinhardt just doing one heck of a job out here.
Yeah, and you look at William Reinhard. Dicesare did pick up a little bit of time through that little section there, Dean, as they come down this straightaway, but I don't think it's enough. But that gap, you know, Dicesare, we've seen this before, maintain the gap.
Yeah, we have seen this before. Dicesare, you know, he will maintain around here. We've seen Reinhardt slow down and speed up in the past, but you never know what you're going to get. I mean, Dicesare, the leader, let's not discount him at all, ever. I mean, this man knows what he's doing. He's one of the best thinkers of the race also. With those new tire developments, he could be thinking about that as well. But right now, he's closing in on our race leader.
Dicesare, let's take a look at that time delta because Dean brings up a good point. That gap, you look at the bar graph, there's not much fluctuation, but there is a little bit of a gain back over the last couple laps to Dicesare's favor. But the top three have taken off from the rest of the field. 4 seconds back from Theo Taylor to Mike Watts, who's gotten back around Chris Stouffer there. That's the battle for 4th place on the track right now. Joe Flanagan out there doing a good job, broken rib and all, and he is hanging tough in 6th position there in the number 53 machine. Lane Allen able to get around Cantanaka, move him back to his starting position of 7th. Cantanaka down 3, and Josh Wilkie has cleared all those drivers toward the back there, Bergdorf and Solari. Now he is on the back of this battle.
Yeah, he's going to be up here. He's going to continue to move forward. You got to watch Wilkie. There's no doubt about that. Lane Allen, good to see him on the move. See if he can get up here and challenge with Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, we're starting to get into tracks. You know, we talk about Lane Allen, a road course driver, when we go to ovals on some of our other broadcasts. We're starting to get into some tracks that Lane Allen likes. Road Atlanta. Then, you know, a couple weeks from now, we have a couple other tracks that we race at quite a bit. Laguna Seca, Sonoma. Those kind of tracks kind of fit into Lane Allen's wheelhouse.
definitely a little more familiarity for him, and just ones that fit his driving style. So going to be interesting to see if he can make, some time up, some different spots within the points. As right now, Wilkie all over Tanaka, Jared.
That's two Porsches battling. We saw some Porsche battling last week. It was Theo Taylor in this situation. Tanaka looking very good as the season has gone on. Shown some speed here and there you go. Wilkie is there all over the back of Tanaka, coming down into this turn 7 section here. Tanaka playing the defensive line. Wilkie trying to go around the outside. He's going to make the undercut deep down in the corner. Locks it up. Both drivers nearly round into each other.
That was a dangerous move. Caused Tanaka to go a little wide, and Wilkie going to take advantage here down into the corner. But that was highly aggressive there. I don't think Tanaka really appreciated that one.
It looked like there wasn't a lot of room to make that pass happen. And Wilkie, Tanaka battling back on the outside. He's going to try to undercut him through this corner. And Tanaka not going to quite be able to do it. So if Wilkie gets through, and 9 minutes into the race, Dean, just a little bit aggressive probably.
It is, but this is what happens when you get a speedy car towards the back. They don't think they belong there, and quite frankly, they don't. But you've made the mistake in qualifying. You didn't get it done there. You have to learn to deal with it. And so far, he's dealt with it fine. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's just putting his car at risk, and others, by the way. And it could bite him at some point. But so far, Wilkie picking up 3 spots on the night, and all is well.
Wilkie up to 8th. Tanaka dropping down another spot. Matt Kuntz is also catching up to this battle. And Eric Bergdorf hasn't left the foray either. So those guys battling in front of them have started to bring some other drivers forward, and also allowed Lane Allen to get some breathing space as he's checked out by 3 seconds here.
Yeah, he can just run his line and see if he can turn some good laps and make some time up on Flanagan right now. Talk about Kuntz. Kuntz went off the track early in this race, and put him way back. So he's made up a lot of time already.
Battle into turn 10. Luke Tanaka on the outside, deep down the corner, and we got somebody off track. I think it's Mike Watts, who is wrecked somewhere on the track. And we'll have to get a replay on that, but this battle not dying down, but Mike Watts has wrecked.
Yeah, and he quickly went to the garage, not happy, not driving, or the car not driving the way he would like. It looks like he just got loose off the rumble strips under the underpass there.
Yeah, coming up into turn 11, hard into the wall. That is just past the tire barrier, and we kind of lose that car. Yeah, he's lost the entire front clip, and that might be race over for Mike Watts.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he's going to call it an evening. That's super unfortunate to see for him.
Wanted to get a replay on Matt Kuntz's incident from earlier. We didn't get a chance to go back and look at it. Running third, hits up over those rumble strips. He just gets on one of those bumps coming off the corner and just locks it down. And it is Eric Bergdorf that was the driver that got damage from Matt Kuntz there. Just slight contact, but it might have been enough to maybe upset the balance of that machine.
Yeah, it might have been just enough to get him a little upset there.
But with that accident by Mike Watts, that's going to move Stouffer to 4th, Flanagan back into the top 5. Allen closing in on a top 5 running position. He's finished up in the top 5 once this year already, but looking for his second best run of the year at least right now in 6th place. Wilkie almost 3.5 seconds back, almost 4 seconds back now of Lane Allen. They're still in a battle with Tanaka and Kuntz as the 3 Porsches battle into turn 3.
At the beginning, we were talking a lot about Chris Stouffer in the 31. He's up 6 spots on the night. He's running a torrid pace. But right behind him, Joe Flanagan with a broken rib, Jared, out here with a broken rib here tonight. He's putting down some laps currently. He's starting to run down Stouffer, and Pepto Joe, he's on the move.
His best lap, a 1:18.192. His last lap, a 1:18.428. So not a lot of difference there in lap times between his best and his last. Joe Flanagan, there's one thing you can count on with Joe. The delta is not very much. He's going to run about the same lap time throughout the run. There's not a whole lot of change in his lap times. And Joe Flanagan doing a nice job heading up through turn 10 and up into turn 11 under the bridge there in 5th place. Lane Allen is making a little progress to catching up Joe Flanagan, though.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys very tight, and we talked about this. You know, your top 3 going to do a little bit of battling, and then you got this big group, and although they're a little spread out, they will accordion up, or at least some of them will, and there's going to be some heavy battling. We see it week in and week out. You don't think there'd be a battle, and then all of a sudden, mid-race, we've got a couple of groups of 3 going at it, so I expect more of the same. And a little update on Richie Coy. He had a little off track there, a little spin, but all is well. Car is okay. He's back out running.
Richie Coy getting some laps in as his real-life racing schedule coming to a close here, so trying to get some practice in as he might make some more appearances as the season goes on, but currently back in 12th position, getting his feet under him for tonight. But up front, the gap is up to 2 seconds between the two Fords of Reinhard and Dicesare. Theo Taylor has started to close back in on Dicesare, only 2-second gap between those drivers, so the top 4 separated by 4 seconds. It's 6 seconds back to Stouffer in 4th.
Yeah, everybody running very similar lap times. I mean, Reinhardt just at this lap, a 1:18.15. Dicesare, a 1:18.18. Taylor, a 1:18.15. I mean, they're just mirroring each other at this point.
And you even look back at Bergdorf, or Tony Solari, apologies. He's in the low 118s, low 119s to high 118s, if I can talk. Josh Wilkie was the fastest driver on the track back in 7th place. He's closing on Lane Allen, who is also closing in on Joe Flanagan. So as you said, Dean, they're accordion and back up.
They are, and I mean, it's really odd to look at those times around the track. I mean, Solari is quite fast. He's down in 11th. Wilkie, fastest guy in 7th. All these times, Allen's, decent lap. Stouffer, a decent lap. I mean, top 3, though, it's still really tough. They always seem to separate themselves. And Reinhardt, what can you say? This man looking for 3 in a row. He is still putting down incredible times out here.
Tony Solari has gone off track in the same spot that Matt Kuntz did, and he was on a flying lap, went purple in Sector 1, but not going to be a good lap for him. He's going to lose some time there as the Porsche just did not get under control coming off turn number 4 there. But back up front, it is Reinhardt and Dicesare. That gap still hovering around 2 seconds as you look at the lap time, back in the 1:17s for Reinhardt. But Theo Taylor, second quickest driver on the track, followed by Josh Wilkie as the third quickest driver.
Yeah, I mean, Theo is nothing. You don't sleep on Theo Taylor. We've seen what he's capable of. When he finds a track that agrees with him, he can absolutely fly, and he is flying here tonight.
And he was the GTE Pro Champion last year, or runner-up behind Michael Blackner, which we'd love to see Michael back out, but life sometimes gets. And
Lane
Allen's off.
Wilkie going on by.
And there you go. But shout out to Michael Blackner if you're out there watching. I know he watches a lot of the broadcasts. So hope to see you back out here soon. But anyway, back up front, Reinhardt, Dicesare, and Lane Allen going off course, Dean. That's going to let Josh Wilkie get by him.
Yeah, and that's kind of Lane Allen's downfall, is just staying focused, getting in a full race, mistake-free. These are long races. Lane's got the talent to do it, and it's just a matter of whether he's fully engaged lap after lap or not.
Yeah, and he is definitely likes the long races. We got a battle behind him. That's Lou Cantanaka and Matt Kuntz trying to go around the outside, going to do the undercut up through turn 10. We got battling all throughout the track here tonight at Road Atlanta, always putting on a good show. Matt Kuntz down into turn 12, not necessarily a passing zone, and he's not going to be able to make it happen, but he stays with him.
He stays with him. And Tanaka, he can't get any luck. He had a big battle from Wilkie. Wilkie getting a little aggressive with him, and now he's got to deal with Kuntz, another fast driver. And
Tanaka under reprimand, so probably driving a little bit more careful and being a little bit more conservative, maybe not trying to race people as hard as maybe he would normally want to, but he is under intense pressure from Matt Kuntz right now. Sees Lane Allen just up the peak. Wilkie and Flanagan also in the picture now, so they're starting to really start to squeeze back up from 5th all the way back to 10th place.
Yeah, they are. Nobody's coming forward more than Wilkie, though. Wilkie, not the best last lap, but he is coming, and I wouldn't be surprised by the end of this race if he's up here challenging Flanagan, Stouffer, and we'll see if he can get towards the top 3.
Kuntz can't make a move, trying to get the slipstream down into turn number 10. Tanaka blocks that slipstream. He's going to take the defensive line into the corner, and it is going to pay off for him again. So Tanaka will retain that position. Kuntz is so good, but he's got that damage from when Bergdorf just barely clipped him there coming off turn 3 on that first lap, and I don't know if that's affecting the Porsche. He's going to get a run down to turn 1.
What a nice move. Swinging that car out wide, down to the inside. Kuntz with a great move, going to take that position.
So move Kuntz up to 8th place. Tanaka down to 9th. We also, at the same time, all that was going on, Tony Solari did clip off course. He's good to go. Richie Coy has been lapped, so he got out of the way of our race leader and went off course as well. But Reinhard, our race leader, the gap, 1.9 seconds. Then you got Dicesare, Theo Taylor. They're not letting Reinhard breathe too easy. Matt Kuntz has crashed.
Oh, no, Kuntz.
What has happened?
All that work, he has crashed. That is not good for Matt Kuntz.
Let's take a look and see what has happened to Matt Kuntz. And that is at the top of the... So he's going through the S's here.
Oh, and Tanaka. Ooh.
Oh, and he rumbles up the corner. Oh, and Tanaka, nowhere to go, runs into the back of him.
Wow, that is not good, but that is about the 3rd or 4th driver I've seen at that exact spot, so that's a real trouble spot there. They're trying to go over that rumble strip. You touch a bit of that dirt that's there, that gravel, and you get loose. I mean, if you look at, a guy like our leader, he just passed it, but maybe Theo Taylor going through there. I mean, they're all through there now, Jared, but, they're not getting on the gravel. These guys who are having problems are swinging it out too wide. They're touching that gravel. It's upsetting that car.
Yeah, and there's also a little bit of a bump there right before the rumble strip, so you kind of get launched up. That's what happened to Kuntz there, and Tanaka nowhere to go. Kuntz down to 10th place, and he is 3rd place in points, so he's going to have to pull some strategy out if he's going to recover something tonight.
He is. Look at the time that Wilkie just put down.
Oof.
A 1:17.97, fastest on the track that time around.
Yeah, fastest by about half a second. So he is coming. He is but Lane Allen not too bad. Also 3rd quickest that time by. So there is some speed in this deep field in the pack. Oh, Wilkie really yawed it out going through turn 10A. And he is closing on Flanagan down to 2-second gap between those two drivers now.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming in a hurry. He's just got to be careful. We've seen what just happened to Kuntz. You can waste 10, 15 laps of effort all in one corner, so you got to keep that car pointed the right direction.
Dean, when we watch these races, this is our 6th broadcast of this series. I always find it interesting how everything gets so spread out, and then all of a sudden we get into this 20, 30-minute range of the race, and everybody starts to get condensed back up.
Yeah, it's really strange how it seems to happen each and every time as Matt Kuntz comes down pit road. We've seen this out of him in the past. The old short pit out of Matt Kuntz. He'll probably short fuel here as well, and he'll have or something to that effect. He's always playing some kind of pit strategy. I love it when Matt Kuntz does this.
Yeah, and he's also got that damage in the rear and on the front now after the incidents in the same spot twice tonight. So Kuntz not having a great go of it. Reinhard increasing his gap to 2.5 seconds over Dicesare. Dicesare now increasing his gap to Theo Taylor by 3 seconds. Stouffer 9 seconds back. And then Flanagan now starting to get some heat. As you look out the back of the Pepto Joe's Concertina Ferrari, you'll see Josh Wilkie.
Yeah, Wilkie is on the move. I mean, Flanagan's having a nice race himself, as is Stouffer ahead of him. But Wilkie absolutely flying around this place, just a hair off our leader that lap, but consistently in the 117s now.
But you look out the back, of Flanagan, you see just how aggressive Wilkie's being on those curves. I mean, he is using every inch. He's all the way on the back bumper of Flanagan coming up through the hill.
Yeah, he's being super aggressive and smooth, I might add, Jared. I mean, you can push his car if you know exactly what you're doing, and I think Wilkie does.
Dean, I'm looking. Did Matt Kuntz crash again? Or am I getting a double readout here?
It looks like he may have. I'll get a look in on it. Looks like something happened exiting pit road here. And yes, he gets on the grass, into the wall, a little spin. That's before he even gets off of pit road. So all that short pit, all that strategy, throw it out the window.
So Kuntz showing a lap down. That's going to leave us with 10 drivers on the lead lap as we look at Tony Solari locking up at the top of the track there, going onto the back straightaway. Richie Coy in 12th. He is sliding through the grass, doing a good job holding on to that Ferrari there. But William Reinhard still our race leader. That gap, Dean, it continues to just increase. He has found a second level here in the first half of the first stint of this race.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you listened to the broadcast or not, but the minute we said Wilkie laid down a 117, Reinhardt sped up and beat that lap, and he's been consistently in the high 117s to 118 flat. And I mean, he's absolutely flying again as Wilkie closed in on the bumper of Flanagan again.
What a job that this William Reinhart is doing tonight, trying to be clean to get that bonus point, trying to get the fastest lap to get those bonus points, and he's already got the pole. So he is trying to chase down Nick Dicesare as we're just past the halfway, as this is the first race of the second half of the season with William Reinhart and Nick Dicesare battling for the championship. Theo Taylor is also there in third position. You see Matt Kuntz in the distance. He is a lap down currently, so tough break for Kuntz back in 11th. And then you have Chris Stouffer in fourth position. He has pulled out a little bit of a gap to Flanagan. But Flanagan, Dean, we looked about it a couple laps ago. He was under intense pressure from Wilkie, but he has withstood that pressure.
Yeah, he has withstood that pressure. He's a stalwart, and he's not going to be pressured. He's going to do everything right out here. He's going to withstand this threat.
Germany versus Italy right here. Ferrari versus Porsche. American versus Canadian. All the storylines you got right there. Both those drivers aggressive over the curbs coming up on turn number 6 there. But Joe Flanagan a little bit better through that section. He's able to get the gap through the track, part of the track where Wilkie needs to be able to make a run on. Look out the front of Wilkie's machine at Joe Flanagan. You see in front of them Richie Coy in that group as well. Tony Solari has gone off course. Luke Cantanaka has gone off course. No damage for either of those drivers, it looks like. Wilkie aggressive through this section of the track. Joe Flanagan a little bit defensive through turn 12. Wilkie a little bit more flat out, but Flanagan doing a good job. Not much to be gained there right now.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for Wilkie, but you get behind a guy like this who's very close in speed, and you can close up.
Oh!
Oh my goodness, Jared.
That was... That was aggressive.
That's not a passing zone, Jared.
That's I don't think I was expecting a pass there. I don't know if Joe Flanagan was expecting a pass there.
Give credit to Joe Flanagan, man. He had to back out of that. I mean, that's a highly aggressive move. I know Wilkie's getting a little frustrated, but that's not the place to make that move. But he got it done, and he got to go down and thank Joe Flanagan. He would have been frustrated with him, but Flanagan giving him some room to operate there. What a job by him.
And we're watching the replay there, Dean. Flanagan already started committing to turn in. Wilkie just outbroke him, and Flanagan actually locked up the left front tire and somehow kept that car under control. Flanagan, very smooth, because we could have easily seen these two drivers wrecked out of the race.
Yeah, well, I think Flanagan definitely seen him in his mirror, and that caused him to do some, evasive maneuvers and lock that car up. But yeah, smooth and a great move by him. But let's give Wilkie his credit, and stop ragging on him, if you will. He is now up 6 spots into 5th, and he's got his sights set on Stouffer, and he's flying. I mean, he's got clear track again. This man might be the fastest guy on the track.
Yeah, he does, Dean. And you look at these guys, Stouffer, 5.9 seconds right now to Josh Wilkie. So he has got a little bit of breathing room, but Wilkie has been putting down some good laps. Stouffer actually the fastest, or no, sorry, apologies. The 4th fastest driver last time by. So Wilkie's going to have to make up some time. He lost a little bit of time behind Flanagan, and now he's going to have to chase down Stouffer.
Yeah, he's got work to do to catch Stouffer. Stouffer's been having a nice race, but he has not held his pace as well or increased his pace as well as guys at the front. I mean, Reinhard, Dicesare, Taylor, all 117s last time by, and actually Theo Taylor, fastest man.
Yeah, those 3 drivers all in the 117s. Then you go back, Luke Hantanaka, the next one up, actually Matt Kuntz. And Joe Flanagan has decided to pit, Dean. Early pit stop for the 53.
Yeah, no surprise here. Pretty much on schedule at the 1 hour mark. Flanagan can come in, and will he take tires? He usually does. He's usually one of the few who does. We'll see how that plays out for him.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and we look at the gap. Josh Wilkie has made up 1 second in one lap to Chris Stouffer. He is down to 4 seconds now, the gap between 4th and 5th. And we saw the great battle those 2 drivers had last week in Montreal. Now we're going to have a reprise of that. Flanagan down and away.
Yeah, Flanagan down and away. So no tires for Joe that time. So interesting call out of Flanagan. Maybe changing up the strategy after the last couple of weeks.
So Stouffer right now, that gap has gone down to about 4 seconds flat. So he's coming into turn 10A and going into turn 10B. And there is Josh Wilkie. He is flying, Dean. Josh Wilkie is a man on a mission as Nick Dicesare puts down his best lap of the race.
Dicesare absolutely flying too. He sees Theo Taylor coming and Reinhard going. He's starting to lay him down as these 3 are doing the accordion, or the concertina effect, if you will. And so, these guys, it's going to be a great finish here. Stouffer kind of on his own for a minute as Wilkie runs him down. I guess Lane Allen would be the guy who's alone on the track right now.
Yeah, Lane Allen 6 seconds behind Wilkie, 6 seconds ahead of Hantanaka. And we got Eric Bergdorf pitting from 8th place on pit road, the 5th place in points man, getting service done to his number 88 machine. And that gives us a good opportunity to shout out our sponsors for tonight, and that is Hard Dick's Hop and Ale. That's a local home-brewed ale by Darren Snyder and Eric Bergdorf that support the series, allow us to get these broadcasted races out there for you guys. And Asphalt Motorsports, bringing you all the action there for both of those guys. So good to have him out. Darren, unfortunately, not able to race because his work schedule has changed again, but I know he's going to go back and watch and see how Eric does in the race. Reinhard, your leader, Dicesare, and Theo Taylor just went fastest all race, Dean. He's stealing some points from Reinhard.
Taylor's flying. I mean, we're talking about Wilkie. We're talking about Reinhard, Dicesare. Taylor could be the man. He is absolutely flying.
Bergdorf down and away, but Theo Taylor, that gap from Dicesare, if we look at it right now, the time delta last time by between Dicesare and Taylor has come down to 2 seconds flat, and it's even lower than that, down to 1.5 seconds. So Theo Taylor on a mission right now.
He is, and Cesare's on one too, as they continue to ride faster than our race leader. So the race leader is starting to fall off here as perhaps some tire degradation coming into effect here. I don't know. But Reinhard, whenever we think he's slowing down, he speeds up. So expect a lap out of Reinhard coming up.
Let's see what it is across the line. Reinhard is coming up into turn 11, down the hill into turn 12, and he's heading to pit road, Dean.
Yeah, he's coming in, and it'll be interesting to see what he chooses here. So far, nobody getting tires, so I don't expect any from Reinhard.
And that's going to turn the lead over to Dicesare. And Theo Taylor just went another 117. He picked up almost a second on Dicesare just that lap. Solari's on pit road.
I mean, him and Wilkie are absolutely flying around here.
Dean, can you confirm? I think Reinhard might be taking tires.
Reinhard is just got in, so I cannot confirm that yet.
Apologies, I jumped the gun.
Yeah, he's only been in for 15 seconds and counting. He should be coming out here right away, about 2 seconds. Okay. And yes, here he goes.
I had a little bit of an error on my side on the graphic there, and I thought maybe he was taking tires. False alarm.
Stouffer, Allen, and Hatanaka all in on pit road.
And they're all pitting about the same time, so this could be an interesting race off pit road if somebody is able to make an advantage here. Stouffer down and away. We'll see where he comes out in relation to Joe Flanagan, and Wilkes has not pitted yet. Dicesare coming up off of turn 11. Where he going to come in? Yes, he's coming in pit road now. And Theo Taylor's going to follow him in. And this is not an easy pit road to get on, Dean.
This is not an easy pit road. These guys both doing a great job, and they are right there together. And I'm not sure, but is Dicesare missing a hood on that car? Or is that just paint?
That is paint. Yeah, it's paint. Yeah.
That's why I missed. For a minute there, I thought he had an exposed engine there, so a little strange looking.
Wilkie down on pit road. We look right now at our fastest pit lane times. Luke Hatanaka putting down the best time so far, 44.48 on pit road and 16.78 on pit. So Dean, he put down a good time, and he has actually been able to leapfrog Lane Allen and close up to a little bit, close the gap down to Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, a great move by him. We'll see how that plays out on the last stop, if he needs more gas or not. But great job by Tanaka choosing to leapfrog Allen. He knows there's lots of clean track in front of him from there. He can get out here and just race his race.
And Theo Taylor coming out of pits, unfortunately, comes out right behind Richie Coy. Coy does a good job getting out of the way, but still a difficult spot. But Reinhard Nick Dicesare was able to cut down about a second out of Reinhardt's lead by that staying out a couple extra laps. So right now there is the Reinhardt, Dicesare, and there you see Taylor. He is the big winner. There is no distance between second and third now, Dean.
Yeah, it's interesting because Taylor had the slowest stop out of all three. So how he managed to close up, I'll never know. But Theo Taylor up here, and we'll see how he's reacting out here with a full tank of gas, older tires still, as nobody decided to take tires that time around.
Yeah, my guess is, if I had to guess, my guess is his outlap is going to be faster. We'll find out here when they come across the line. But Dicesare did pick up the pace just a little bit on Theo Taylor. Theo Taylor maybe smelling blood in the water and then got a little aggressive here. So let's see what happens here across the line. And 156. Now they're about equal. So I think Theo Taylor did pick up some time and has lost that time now.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that assessment there, Jared. But the big story right now is still Reinhardt. He's got 4-second gap to Dicesare and Taylor. So he did everything right again. We talked about it, in pre-race discussions, and we talked about it in the past, the mistakes. He's just not making them anymore. This man is looking for a championship, and he's driving like a champion.
And it's going to be just taking points every single race, couple points here and there. But keep in mind, Theo Taylor owns the 2 bonus points for fastest lap. So that is not going to go to Reinhardt or Dicesare at this time. So that's something to keep in mind as this race goes on. And we look at the championship battle. Richie Coy down and off pit road here tonight. Tony Solari, some more damage to that machine. He is off the track now, unfortunately. So Solari looks like he has called it a night, unfortunately.
Towards the back, you got a little battle brewing between Kuntz and Bergdorf, as Kuntz once again trying to get out here and turn some laps in and improve his position. Lately he's put himself behind the 8 ball several times here, and the guy, we didn't see a lot of mistakes early in the season, but he seems to be making them now, Jared.
Came in just 4 points behind Reinhardt. Now he did miss a race, which that will all calibrate out as the season moves on. But unfortunately, Dean, you look at it, I mean, that is a tough position for Matt Kuntz because he came in still in the championship fight, and now all of a sudden that's pretty much kind of going to let it go at this point if he finishes back here in 10th.
Yeah, look for him to pick up a few spots. Not necessarily a lot of tough drivers out here, but I look for him to move up a couple, but it's just not enough. With the amount of drivers there is and the amount of points up for grabs, they're just not going to be able to make up this kind of time. He needs to be in the top 3, and quite frankly, he needs to be winning races.
Yeah, and he is this right now would be around a 15-point deficit that he would lose to William Reinhard if things stay the way they are. But right now it is Reinhard, Dicesare, Theo Taylor, your top 3. That's how it's been all race. The top 3 have expanded the gap. It is now 17 seconds back to Christopher, who did not have a stellar pit stop. Josh Wilkie has caught him up 2 seconds now between these two drivers that had a great battle last week at Montreal.
Yeah, they did. They had one heck of a battle. Wilkie a little slow last time by as he's out there on that full gas. He's trying to get a feel for this car again, and we'll see. He's been driving awfully hard, Jared. I wonder what the tire wear situation is. I'm really surprised. You talked about the update, a little more tire degradation. Doesn't seem to be a factor here at Atlanta, though.
Yeah, not yet. And, maybe it's too early. I don't know. I just know it was updated, but doesn't, it's always how it goes with that.
It
but
could be a 1% update.
Right.
You never know.
But right now, Wilkie is closed down to under 2 seconds to Stouffer. Flanagan about 6 seconds behind this battle as well. Still in the mix here.
Yeah, Flanagan doing a nice job, and we've seen Flanagan have some nice parts of this race so far. He's been solid, and again, broken rib, Jared. So, that's got to be painful getting around here.
Yeah, and I could only imagine. This is not a track that I would say it's pretty physical. I mean, this is sim racing, and you don't really think about it, but there are some tracks out there. Sonoma's one, Road Atlanta's another that can be very physical. Matt Kuntz has gotten around Bergdorf, but Bergdorf chasing him back now. Now, remember, Kuntz has less fuel because he pitted 10 laps before anybody else.
Yeah, he definitely has.
Ooh, got fuel loose. Sorry, Dean.
This is what Kuntz does, right? He gets that low load on the second run almost every time. He tries to make up time, but he's been a little out of control tonight. Not quite enjoying the track or as comfortable on it, I guess. But he still looks good. But he's going to have to take a bigger fuel load on the next pit stop. That's going to cost him some time.
You look down through the rest of these guys. Tanaka kind of by himself, 6.5 behind Flanagan. Flanagan 5 seconds behind Wilkie, and Stouffer is wrecked.
Stouffer, no!
And that's that same spot we've seen issues from Matt Kuntz tonight, and I believe Tony Solari also had an incident there as well. And now Chris Stouffer's lost all that time. That's Luke Tanaka that was about 17 seconds behind this battle is now on his bumper. That is not what Stouffer needed. Let's take a look and see what happened. So he's coming down through the S's through here, the up and downs. Comes up over the crest there, and it's the same situation as Matt Kuntz. Locks it down. He got a little bit more loose, and he actually came very close to that barrier. Didn't hit it. Had to reverse out of there because there's a little bit of a gap in the wall, and he kind of got stuck in that area, but didn't hit anything.
Yeah, it's the same story. We've seen it now 4 or 5 times. That is the trouble area. You just carry so much speed, and if you get a little too greedy, you go a little too wide, the car just gets upset over that bump there.
Unbelievable job right there to hold on to that car and not hit anything, but that's going to cost him a ton of time as Luke Tanaka now smells some blood in the water.
Speaking about smelling blood, guess who? William Reinhard laying down a sub-1 in 18 with a full tank of gas. He's increased that lead over these guys. Taylor also, so he's starting to feel it. He's closing in on Dicesare.
And Dean, I have to wonder, when I don't know how many times you've had this experience, but with some bonus points available for fastest lap, a lot of guys use programs that let them know, where their kind of laps are compared to everybody else, or something alerts them to who is doing it. Is that in the back of your mind, knowing that you need to go out there and get a fast lap at some point in this race to get those bonus points?
Well, it most definitely is. I mean, if you're Dicesare or Taylor, it is. I mean, really, Dicesare, he's the one chasing or trying to protect his lead. Reinhard looking for those bonus points, of course, trying to run down that points lead Dicesare has. So, yeah, I mean, for some guys, it's definitely in the forefront of their mind, especially with a shorter field. I mean, those points of high importance.
So right now, that gap has increased as Nick Dicesare under just starting to feel maybe a little pressure. Theo Taylor putting in one of the best drives he's done that I've seen him do in a long time, doing a great job in that Porsche back there, and really giving Nick Dicesare everything he can handle.
Yeah, and as fast as we can talk about a driver, they switch. Right? Dicesare the fastest that lap out of the top 3. So, I mean, it's just amazing to watch lap after lap. Like I said, as soon as we go to talk about someone and how fast they are, the other guy goes faster. So, it's quite a battle up here, and this is going to continue. Although they are not nose to tail, they're not right on the bumper of each other, the gap remains the same, Jared.
Also had an excursion for Lane Allen. He goes off the track. And this is a little bit different than what we've seen. This is coming into turn 9. And he just went wide, coming on to the back straightaway there, looped it all the way around, and he kept the throttle in it and just does a donut and keeps going, but he loses 2 spots to Kuntz and Bergdorf.
Yeah, Lane Allen. I mean, my dark horse here tonight, not having the night that he would hope so far, now back in 10th place, and he's going to have to fight Bergdorf, Kuntz, or anybody else that he can contact. I think at this point, he's just going to want to keep that car pointed the right direction and hope for others to make some mistakes.
Speaking of mistakes, Chris Stouffer made a little bit of mistake, allowed Hantanaka by, but Hantanaka made a mistake, and Stouffer gets back by him. So these guys swapping positions in 6th and 7th position there. But right now, Wilkie, because of that excursion for Stouffer, he has been able to just kind of set sail. Nobody around him right now. He has a 19-second deficit to Theo Taylor. Is there any realm of possibility, Dean, that Josh Wilkie can get back in this race?
Not really. Just to be honest, Reinhard, Dicesare, and Taylor, he could get by one of them. He might be able to get by 2 of them with mistakes from those guys. But to think that all 3 of these guys would make a mistake in the 20-second value, I just don't think that's going to happen. But what a great job, right? He's up 7 spots. He's got back in this thing. And we talked, about 20 minutes ago that he was too far back and losing too many points. I mean, he's back up here getting points.
He's doing a good job. And he is currently shown in 6th position in points. So, Joe Flanagan wants to keep him in touch because he is currently in 4th place in points and has an opportunity to gain big time on Matt Kuntz. Battle right now on the track is for 6th position between Stouffer and Hantanaka. Hantanaka right there breathing down that Ferrari's neck.
Yeah, Hantanaka, I mean, he's been the excitement factor out here. Really not him, just guys around him.
Dean, Joe Flanagan has wrecked at the same spot Stouffer did. I can't see him on my screen. Change our camera. Yeah, he is blocked in. There he is. He is stuck in the tire barrier or something, Dean.
Oh, it looks like he is stuck. And that is, again, the same spot as everybody else. Just a little too high. Around you go. And he looks like he's locked up there. I don't understand why that would be.
Let's see what happened to Flanagan here. He's coming up through the S's. Same trouble spot as all night. And you see him just over that bump, and there's a bump on the pavement there, and he's deeper in there than Chris Stouffer. Hits the wall and backs it up and can't get it turned around.
It looks like when he goes back, he goes forward again and gets back to the wall a second time, and then he gets stuck, which is, it's iRacing, and sometimes these things happen.
And that is extremely unfortunate for Joe Flanagan, who is looking to gain some points on Matt Kuntz and maybe put himself back on the podium of championship in the championship race. But that is not going to happen now. Theo Taylor, on the other hand, Dean, while all that action was going on, he has lost about 3 seconds to Dicesare now.
Yeah, he's lost a little time, but he's still putting great lap times down. Looks like he's just being patient with it here. And I think this could be a tire move. I mean, you don't want to overdrive this car. I mean, you've got a long way to go. We're not even halfway into this race yet. These guys do not want to take tires. So if the tires are already going away, you better back her down a little bit.
So to keep you up to date on what has gone on in the race, we had 13 drivers start, and Nick Dicesare has missed turn 1. He is through the grass. Dicesare is keeping the gas in it, and that's going to let Theo Taylor go by. Nobody else around, and Dicesare has just blown second place.
Unbelievable.
And we were on that live, but let's get ourselves a replay of that. Dicesare just blew turn 1, it looked like, or turn 2, I should say. So here we go. Coming up into turn 3, apologies. And he gets on the grass entering turn 3, and that just sets him off trying to enter 3A, and the car just not going to grip there, and Theo Taylor easily by.
Well, this is why we were talking about Wilkie and can he make up spots. Even with that mistake, that was half of the time he needed to make up. I mean, that's big. Now Dicesare in his sights, perhaps, if he could run him down, that's a tall order. But, I mean, a big spin like that, Jared, only 10 seconds. So Wilkie looking like he might have to settle in for 4th.
And that's another 3 points. It's 3 points per position for the top 7 positions. As you see, Dicesare, another 3 points he's given up right there to William Reinhard.
Yeah, Reinhard's loving it. I mean, he's doing everything he can, right? He's won the last 2 races. He's out here leading this race. I'm pretty sure he just put down the best lap time of the race a couple laps ago, a 1:17.77, at least his best lap. I think Taylor actually is still holding the best lap.
Yeah, Taylor does still hold the best lap, but not by much. It's about 2/10 right now with those 2 bonus points. Battle for 5th place still heating up. That is between Stouffer and Hantanaka. And Stouffer has a back all full up of Luke Hantanaka. And that's a great battle. Stouffer just out here for wins, he said. And Luke Hantanaka trying to get in the top 10 in points. So he has got himself a little bit of a goal to aim for. But he is all over the back of Chris.
Yeah, Hantanaka, he's been very steady with his lap times here. And Stouffer been a little up and down. He was a rocket early. Now it's fading just a little bit. And Hantanaka, if he can just stay steady and not worry about this too much, I think as the race goes on, he might just get Stouffer.
Coming down the long back straightaway, and you'll see, look at the slipstream that Hantanaka is able to get on Stouffer coming down into turn number 10A. Just can't quite get down there as the sun starts to go behind the clouds just a little bit. And Hantanaka using every bit, even some of the grass coming through turn 11.
Yeah, throwing up a little grass and dirt into the air. And, he's just trying to hang in there and stay in that slipstream that you talked about so that he can use that to, further help his lap times and wait for a mistake out of Stouffer.
Track down to 95 started at 101 when practice started. So track temp has gone down. We're going to start seeing some faster laps. But William Reinhard actually putting down his slowest lap that we've seen him do, a 1:19.2, Dean.
Yeah, Reinhard, a bit of an enigma with the lap times once in a while. You'll think he's slowing down, and he might be. It's not. But then a lap or two later, he'll speed that thing right back up. So he's got a nice lead here. He can spend some time conserving a little tire, perhaps, and just riding around. But don't expect him to stay at those high lap times for long.
And Richie Coy, he's back there. He's persevering. I love drivers that go out there and they're going to try to run all the laps or as many as they can, doing a great job. He just put down his best lap last time by. So Richie's starting to get a little bit of hang on the track there. And good to see Richie out there getting the laps in. But back up front, it's still William Reinhard. 6 seconds to Theo Taylor. If you're just joining us, we've lost 3 drivers so far. Mike Watts early. He got off, and they've all been in the same spot. Mike Watts, Tony Solari, Joe Flanagan coming up in this area where the leader is right now, turn 5. It's been a treacherous spot for a lot of drivers, and all 3 of those drivers have had various issues that have cost them their race there and put them out. So we have 10 cars still running, Reinhard leading, and he's led since the beginning.
Yeah, William Reinhard, maybe we could ride on board with him, Jared. Just have a look at how he handles this track. I mean, very smooth on the wheel, smooth on the inputs. He's just all around. He's got this thing figured out.
Let's jump on board William Reinhard here and just take a look and see what he's looking at. Coming down into turn number 1, and you see just one little turn in, and he holds the wheel steady through the turn, lets the car kind of drift back up, hits up over these rumble strips, easy on the brakes. You'll see those the Motec indicator. That is a traction, how much traction he has, and a shift light down here in the bottom right, as well as he's coming up over the crest in turn 5. Little bit of understeer through there, or a little oversteer, apologies, and goes down the first straightaway. And good turn in through this section, Dean, and he's on the gas right through here. Great runoff, uses the curbing on the inside, back across to the curbing. Great runoff, and now he's going to go down this straightaway into turn 10.
Yeah, I just love what I'm seeing out of him. It's just nice and smooth. I don't see anything out of the ordinary, and that's a 117.82. You know, I mean, he's absolutely flying, but it doesn't feel like it, Jared.
Great turn in here at turn 10A, using all the curbing, all of it. Using all the curbing coming off the corner, and then he gets right down to the white line. Doesn't come back out to the curbing in turn 11. Turn 12, right against the curbing. It's a little bit raised there, but that lap right there was a 117.98, and that was a fun lap to go on board with him.
It was. I mean, like I said, that is an incredibly fast lap. It doesn't feel like it, though, and that's what you want. I mean, if you get in someone who's towards the back, like a Richie Coy, for instance, not to pick on you, Richie, but, you know, a less experienced driver on this track, they're going to look like they're absolutely flying, and they're going to be 2 or 3 seconds slower. So there's just a difference in the familiarity and how to drive it.
Yeah, exactly right. And the other thing, too, is just keeping your car on the track, and that is always an important factor. And, you know, Reinhard just so smooth through this section. And Theo Taylor, and he is doing great, too. But, you know, this race has come down to tenths, and you can't give up tenths of a second. And when you spread tenths of a seconds out over an hour, you're going to get a 6-second, 7-second lead.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a huge difference between these guys, but like you said, over time, there is. And Theo Taylor, I mean, give him credit. This is one of the best runs he's had here so far. We knew he could do it. Really happy for him. He's got to keep this together. Kind of forget about Reinhardt. Try and beat Dicesare. That's a feat in itself.
Theo Taylor, the New Zealander. This is early Sunday morning, just getting some coffee in the bloodstream down there for the Auckland, New Zealand native. Theo Taylor having a great run. Currently in second position. That would be his best run of the season if he's able to hold on to that position. Right now sitting in 7th place in points. So this would be a big points night for Theo Taylor if he's able to hold on to that in the 777. Did indicate he is going to be retiring from GTE competition after the season. So, you know, that is these cars obviously in real life going by the wayside. So a lot of things that are still going to be figured out in the future. But Theo Taylor having a great run here tonight.
Yeah, it's a shame to see these cars go away, Jared, as Matt Kuntz comes in as the short pick continues for Kuntz.
So Kuntz is in from 7th position. That's going to push Lane Allen back around him, move him up back to 7th position. Luke Hantanaka still stalking Christopher Dean. This has been they've been the same position the whole entire 15 minutes since Stover has went off track. And Hantanaka, I think he's just being a little bit too conservative.
Oh, I don't think so. I think he's doing the right thing. These guys are incredibly evenly matched. It's not like they're running slow times. They're running very quick times and a little almost contact there, Jared.
Stouffer locked up, and I think Hantanaka didn't see it. That's kind of a blind curve coming up over that crest. There's a little bit of a crest there entering that corner, and I think Hantanaka had to lock it up after Stouffer locked it up, and that's going to cost him some time. But Stouffer, ever since he went off the track, he's not been able to put down those laps like he had before.
Speaking of laps, Lane Allen fastest on the track last lap around. So good for Lane Allen. Him and Dicesare with a 1:18.08. Very impressive.
Yeah, Lane Allen is about 16 seconds behind this battle, but he's got that Corvette working the way he wants it to now as he comes up under the bridge into turn number 11 and through 12 as we jump on board. Lane Allen coming to the line here to complete his 33rd lap of the race. 43rd lap of the race.
Now, the difference in cars here, you can really tell, too, between him and Reinhard. You got the Ford in one and the Corvette here. The sounds are different. It feels different. It looks a little different, Jared.
Yeah, it does. And, that's the other thing, too. I mean, the updates, there's always iRacing trying to balance everything out, make everything even. And that always, you never know what you're going to get when you come back to a track for the first time after an update. But the Corvette still looking very sharp out there as Lane Allen in 7th place right now. And like I said, about 15 seconds behind this battle for 5th place. Josh Wilkie actually put down the fastest lap of his race this last time, but the time before last. So Wilkie closing some time on Dicesare. Dicesare, is he on pit road? No, he is not.
At the moment. But the other guy, too, is, Wilkie again was laying down, or Taylor, I should say. I'm sorry, Theo Taylor with a 1:17.75 last time around, flying again. So I don't know. Can you count anybody out? Can you count Taylor out as far as Reinhardt's concerned? I don't know.
Yeah, and Theo Taylor, the only driver right now that does not have any incident points on the board. So he'd be the only one at this point in time picking up any incident point bonuses that are available from the race. So that's an extra point for Theo Taylor. Everybody else will not be able to get that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, every point is another point earned, so you'd be looking to grab those.
But right now, it's all William Reinhard led since the beginning. We are at the hour mark, and in game right now, Dean, we are at the about 6 o'clock. So we have about an hour in game, which means about half an hour out of game or in real life until the sun sets. And Josh Wilkie, Dean, has just put down the best lap of the race by 1/100th of a second. So he's going to steal the 2 bonus points.
Wow, Wilkie. I mean, he continues to impress, and we continue to switch it up, but Hatanaka's on pit road.
And I love this call by Luke Hatanaka. You weren't passing Stouffer on the track. You weren't able to get a run on him. Come in, undercut him, and just get yourself out there ahead of him.
Yeah, he did it to Lane Allen earlier in the race. He's going to do it again here to Stouffer. So great call by Luke Hatanaka. We'll see how it plays out.
Reinhard did his best lap of the race last time by. Can he try to pick up the bonus points? Comes across the line, and that lap is his best lap again, so he's getting closer to the best lap of the race, Dean.
He's trying for it, there's no doubt. Just not quite there, and he's going to have to do a little bit more to get there.
Unimpressive what these guys are able to do, but keep in mind, in qualifying, 1:17.1 was the best lap.
Jared Hatanaka, 30-second pit stop, 57 on the pit lane time. That's a strange call there from Hatanaka.
Yeah, Dean, were you able to tell if he took tires?
Oh, and he's around. He's into the tire wall. First corner out of the pits, and he's lost control of that vehicle. I did not see any tires, Jared.
And that's the same place Matt Kuntz went off when he got back out of pits, but this is not good for Hatanaka. And Kuntz is wrecked. What has happened to Matt Kuntz?
Matt Kuntz has jumped to the pits as things begin to fall apart. Perhaps those tires going away.
He's hitting the curb. And Dean, this is I'm going to guess it's the same spot as earlier. Yeah, it is.
Right where Joe Flanagan ended up, right by that wall. Kuntz having enough. He's going to go to the pits.
And yeah, he smashes that barrier. And man, that is a tough night for Matt Kuntz, who was trying to chase down Reinhardt and Dicesare in the championship hunt. Came in 37 back of Dicesare, 4 back of Reinhardt for second place, and tonight will be leaving here probably in 9th or 10th position. Eric Bergdorf on pit road as Richie Coy has passed Matt Kuntz on the track.
Yeah, Bergdorf in. Early stop for him. Not a lot of battling around him on the track, so it'll be interesting to see. Does he decide to take tires?
Bergdorf.
And he is. Bergdorf is taking tires.
And we wondered if somebody would do it, Dean, and there it is. You see it on our screen. Bergdorf, car is up in the air. So this could be an interesting strategy. I wonder if anybody else is thinking tires, because it seems like we're seeing the lap times kind of increase, but yet at the same time, the laps have been more sloppy, it seems like.
Yeah, and I think that's the beginning, right?
Oh.
You see that sloppiness.
Richie Coy off the track in the same spot we've seen. That is the trouble spot. Look at all those tire marks into that area. There's at least 4 races ended right there, Dean.
Yeah, it's a very, very tough spot on the track. He gets back on the track safely.
Back up front, it's Reinhard by 8 seconds now to Theo Taylor, and you have to wonder, Dean, are those tires maybe going away? Kuntz, heavy damage. He's still on pit road, losing laps as everybody goes by.
Well, the interesting decision will be here is Theo Taylor, right? Taylor, Dicesare, and Wilkie. They all got like 9-second gaps from each other. What are they going to do? Is anybody going to try tires here? I mean, Taylor maybe be able to try some tires. It's only going to cost him maybe 15 seconds to 20 seconds in the pits. That's quite a bit of time. But from what we're seeing, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say if you need him or you don't.
Yeah, because the lap times haven't really dropped off, but the handling seems to be going away. Chris Stouffer, our first of our leaders on pit road. So let's see what the 31 machine will do here. And maybe he will take tires. And that could set the tone.
It could set the tone. I mean, I'm not expecting it. I mean, there's just so much, time that you're going to lose track time-wise. But, I mean, we've seen it from Bergdorf. Bergdorf had enough of fighting that car. He took him.
And you're giving up about 20 seconds. It takes about 20 additional seconds to change all 4 tires. Lane Allen's wrecked.
Lane Allen has wrecked, and we continue to see handling issues.
Stouffer down the way, no tires there. Lane Allen, this is coming down the front straightaway into turn number 1. And he's got Bergdorf behind him, and he just misses the apex of turn 1, and he's headed straight for the concrete barrier. Heavy impact, stuck in the wall. That's reset to pits. A lot of wall sticky tonight, unfortunately.
There is. Very unfortunate for Lane. A tough night. I mean, we expected a bit more from him out here on a track that he likes, but it has proven to be highly difficult for a lot of drivers out here. And we'll see what Reinhard, Taylor, Dicesare, with every lap that goes by, Jared, it's more and more these guys will not take tires. So I don't expect the top 3 or 4 to take tires at this point.
Yeah, Chris Stouffer did not, and he had actually the fastest pit stop of the night so far, 15.43. So very quick and very little fuel in that machine, just trying to make 25 laps, no doubt. But right now, Reinhard continues to stay out. He's got all but 4 drivers a lap down, and likely will not catch Wilkie to put him a lap down. But Stouffer a lap down, Hantanaka, Bergdorf all shown 1 lap down right now.
Jared, when we look at pit stops and what can be done there, look at the difference between Stouffer and Hantanaka. Stouffer comes in, he's got a 15-second stop. Hantanaka came in, he had a 30-second stop. Not sure what the reason would be for that. Full tank of gas, I guess. I don't know. But that's 15 seconds. He is now shown 35 seconds behind Stouffer. He was right on his bumper before pit stops.
Yeah, and Hantanaka also spun coming out of the pits too, which definitely hurt him.
That's true. That's another 10. But, I mean, he lost 20 of those in the pits.
Yeah, he did. And I think the issue was possibly, I did not see that car go up on jack, so I think he had some damage that he had to get repaired there. Because he did get in the back of some people, yeah.
But all that goes on. Reinhard, really starting to just pull away here. What an amazing run for this guy. And I don't mean here tonight. I mean the last 3 races, Jared. It's been amazing because there was a time when it was all Dicesare, right? Dicesare and Kuntz and Wilkie, and Reinhard was in the mix. But all of a sudden, he threw his name up there and said, I'm first. And he decided to pit right now.
Coming into the pits from the lead, and that is a very aggressive pit entry for William Reinhard. You don't want to throw it away by speeding. I've been there before, so don't do that. Theo Taylor will go by to lead his first laps of the night. No bonuses for that. But William Reinhart on pit road. There's Dicesare. He's going to stay out another lap, it looks like. Yes, he is.
And Reinhard there giving our mate Jared Kerr in the booth here a little flashback to a mistake once made. But you can make that mistake, Jared, even with a big lead. Your instincts say to get everything you can get.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The advantage is you do have that pit limiter. So Reinhardt down and away. So no entry penalty there, but very quick pit lane time, 43.3. Stouffer still the best so far, but that is going to shift things back in the favor of William Reinhart, no doubt. Theo Taylor's going to have to put on something immaculate here in the last 22 minutes.
Yeah, and I keep saying it about Reinhard. I mean, I used to comment that he was prone to the odd mistake. That is simply not the case anymore. He doesn't make any, not of any kind, at any time. So Reinhard, I mean, and of course, I'm not trying to put a hex on him. Don't listen to me. Just keep driving. But Reinhard, just very impressive with what kind of championship driving he's doing as Taylor comes in.
Theo Taylor pitting from the lead, 9 seconds ahead of Dicesare. He would need about probably one of the best pits that he's had all night, so to retain the lead. And Dicesare stays out another lap here.
Yeah, he's got to be more concerned with Wilkie behind him than he does or Dicesare.
He missed a pit. Yeah.
Wow, Jared, that's huge.
Yeah, those couple seconds, that's going to do it, I think, right now. Luke Cantanaka is also on pit road again. Or no, that's Matt. Wilkie. No, it's Josh Wilkie. Apologies.
Oh, and Taylor out already. 14 seconds.
That is a solid pit stop. That's our fastest pit stop of the night. But he is going to come out 8 seconds behind Reinhardt. So was not able to make up any time there.
No, and he lost 2 of those just sliding through his stall, or he would have picked up maybe 1 or 2, but he lost it all sliding through. Let's see what Wilkie can do. Wilkie also had a really good stop, if he has stopped.
Yeah, he did just come out of pits. 41-second pit lane time. He pressed the edge there. 41.77 on pit lane time. 14.83 in pits. So Wilkie doing a good job as the sun continues to set here at Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia. And Nick Dicesare on the track. On the pits, I mean.
I'm not understanding exactly what happened between Wilkie and Taylor. Wilkie was 8 seconds behind Taylor, I believe. Now 13 seconds back, even with a faster pit lane time.
Yeah, it looks, I don't know what the gap was before the pit stops, unfortunately, between those two drivers, but I believe it was somewhere in that 8 to 9, maybe 10-second range there. But regardless, Wilkie might have lost it on the in-lap. It's hard to say, but right now...
I could be wrong too, Jared. There's a few guys we're looking at, so those gaps may not be accurate.
That is true. That is true. There's so much going on here at Road Atlanta tonight. It's been a heck of a race. William Reinhart well out ahead now. 9 seconds. He's put Luke Cantanaka a lap down, leaving us with 5 drivers still remaining out there.
Jared, a little correction. So now that Taylor and Wilkie and Dicesare have all pitted, it was Dicesare who was about 8 seconds in front of Wilkie. He did gain a couple of seconds on him.
And that would be disastrous for Nick Dicesare tonight if he loses out on the podium to Josh Wilkie. Wilkie is flying right now. That gap right around 6 seconds right now.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything he could do. He's got to maintain on track and hope Dicesare makes one of those, once in 1 in a million mistakes that he already did during this race. So be interesting.
Yeah, if Nick Dicesare falls off the podium, that's another 3 points that goes to Reinhardt's favor. And right now, Wilkie does hold the fastest lap of the race by 1/100th of a second, which means that's also points that are not going to go toward Dicesare. So very interesting. But the top four positions, top four drivers, their best laps, all right around the same lap time. Very, very, very competitive here tonight between those drivers. But Wilkie gap now 6.5 seconds. So Dicesare's starting to put down some time.
So that best lap time, very interesting, Jared. You know, you look at it, Reinhardt's fourth in that category, but first on the board. So consistency, the much bigger factor here. As I believe Dicesare having some connection issues. This could be disaster.
Dicesare, yes, he is blinked out, but he is back on. We're not going to be able to get on him because he is going in and out quite a bit. Lane Allen, Dean, he is back on the track, by the way. I just wanted to point that out, in 8th place.
Yeah, he's going to take what he can get out here. Tough night for the 14, Lane Allen, but he's going to plug away and grab some points here tonight.
And going to hold off. He's about a full lap ahead of Richie Coy, so he'll definitely be able to hold on to that position at this point in time. Reinhardt, 9 seconds now to Theo Taylor. Theo Taylor, 7 seconds to Dicesare. Dicesare, 5 seconds to Wilkie, and Wilkie is gaining. Let's see what the laps are across the line here. And Dicesare does an 18.75. Wilkie comes across the line right now, and he does a 17.57, so Wilkie is coming.
My goodness. That is a 5.7. That is only 3 thousandths off his fastest lap, which is the fastest lap of the race. So he is flying.
And that is not good news for Dicesare, as that gap is now under 5 seconds now between 3rd and 4th. We might have a battle in our hands. Little over 15 minutes to go in this race.
Well, the other thing is, could we have some team orders here? I mean, I believe Wilkie and Reinhardt are teammates, so maybe a little message got into Wilkie's ear, like, get up there and get him.
Well, he did take, like I said, away the 2 points for Theo Taylor, which is not in this championship battle at this time. So that was a really irrelevant, but it does prevent Nick Dicesare from maybe sneaking in and grabbing those points away. But right now, that is a good point, man. Dean, you brought up a really good point. Josh Wilkie has been on a tear over the last, hour.
He's been absolutely flying. I mean, Dicesare, top-notch driver, holding them off at this point, keeping that gap just above 5 seconds. But Wilkie continues to try and make up time here.
Just getting comment from Pepto Joe. He said, sorry guys, those curbs hurt when I hit him, had to call it a night. So that's what happened to Joe Flanagan with that rib injury. We also have Reese Ellison out there. He has been chatting up. He has said that Josh has been struggling with understeer. Now the track temp is coming down. He's gaining grip, and says he is on a mission right now.
He is on a mission. There's no doubt about that. And little shout out to Pepto Joe. We certainly understand there's some pain from that injury. It was a great race at times, Joe, and very impressive actually early on what you were able to do with that injury.
No doubt. But Josh Wilkie, that gap has now come down to, it's hovered back up to 4 seconds. Nick Dicesare might have got the message to step up the pace just a little bit, because they actually matched each other's lap time that last time by.
Yeah. I mean, a mirror image. Not only that, Reinhardt had the same exact time the last lap too. So all three of them had a 1:18.01.
And we'll take a look at the time delta here in a couple laps as soon as that pit lane time gets off of there. We're just waiting on that, and we'll bring up some graphs and see how this is looking here in the next couple laps. So Reinhardt well out ahead, 10 seconds right now. Theo Taylor in second position, doing great. The New Zealander having his best race of the season. And then the Nick Dicesare. And Nick, Dean, he's got to be, maybe, did he look ahead just a little bit? Next week is his home race up there at Lime Rock Park. He doesn't live very far from that track, goes there all the time. Did he maybe just kind of bypass Road Atlanta? I wouldn't think so, but...
I mean, I don't think so. You remember, he made a mistake that cost him 10 seconds, or he probably be in second place. Reinhard won the last 2 races, so there's no real slack off from Dicesare here. What you're seeing is dominance from Reinhard. A single mistake from Dicesare has cost him second place. As long as he doesn't make another one, he should hang on to third, but man, Wilkie's still flying.
Wilkie has given everything he's got, and as we saw Reese comment, the track temperature is going down. It is 90-degree track temp. Let's bring up the weather, show you guys what's going on. Right now, we are at 6:22 in game. We started at 4 p.m. in game time, so that shows you how that is going. But right now, track temp already down 11 degrees from the start of the race, so that is going to make it very racy out here.
Wilkie again, 3rd lap in a row, fastest man on the track. He continues to reel in Nick Dicesare. I just think it's not enough, Jared. The amount he's reeling them in is very small, and he comes up on Lane Allen. That's going to cost him a little time.
And Lane Allen, that's not a spot where you can do much as a lap car. There's not really anywhere to get out of the way because you need all that area there. Lane Allen doing the best he could there, but that is going to cost Wilkie just a little bit of time as that gap's still hovering around 5 seconds. But the other thing, Dean, I wanted to look at, Nick Dicesare is actually catching Theo Taylor. That gap is now down to 6 seconds. Could we have a concertina effect going on with our 2nd through 4th positions here as the race goes down?
Very well could be. A little shout out to Pepto Joe and his concertina channel. Go check that out. But right now, yeah, Dicesare and Wilkie are flying. They're all flying, Jared. I mean, the top 3, even Stouffer, Han Tanaka with a 1:18.09. I mean, all top 6 guys absolutely flying around this track.
Han Tanaka, best lap that last time by, so but he is currently a lap down. So he just out there trying to get some pride out of that machine. But a good run for Luke here tonight in that 0-2. William Reinhard leading, and he is not under too much pressure, but has to be cognizant of these guys behind him. Gap from Theo Taylor to Nick Dicesare, 6 seconds. We look at the time delta. Finally, those laps cleared off. So you can see it's kind of been bouncing up and down. Started out 5 laps ago, 6.9. It's come down to 6 seconds between Dicesare and Theo Taylor. We look between Wilkie and Dicesare, and that gap has gone from 6.4 down to 5.1, but it hasn't really changed much once it got to 5.1.
No, he lost a little bit last lap because he caught Lane Allen at that wrong point in the track. But look for it to keep coming down. But I mean, let's give credit to Dicesare for putting in the laps to really stave off Wilkie. I mean, he's got to put in high quality laps, lap after lap, just to hold off Wilkie. And the same for Taylor, trying to hold off Dicesare. Theo Taylor, 777 out there. I mean, what a race for this guy.
Doing a great job, having a season best finish, the GTE Pro runner-up last season, winning the last race of the year at Mid-Ohio, actually, and has definitely knows his way around this track as well, and has done really good in the iRacing Petit Lemans 10-hour race there as well. So, but he has staved off that challenge. It looks like it's down to 5 seconds. Dicesare coming through the gap right now. It's 5 seconds to Wilkie. So second is go ahead, Dean.
Dicesare, it says he put up a 1:17.54, but when I look on his best time, it's not registering. That might be the fastest lap of the race if it does come through, Jared.
Yeah, and likely what's going on there, Dean, if he went off track, that will invalidate it for scoring.
Wow, so he did do the fastest lap, but not good enough for the 2 points because he wasn't clean. Wow, that could be big.
Yeah, the lap, I mean, he's still going to, he didn't lose the lap, he's still going to, be in 3rd place. He's not going to drop the lap completely off, but goes off track. Anything that happens, car contact even, will invalidate that lap. And Dicesare finding some speed here. He knows he needs those 2 points because he's probably not going to be able to catch Theo Taylor here in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he went after it. He had it. It just didn't quite, it wasn't enough. Let's see what he did that time by, a 1:17.99. So he's going for it.
Yeah, he's trying. I think that's his last bastion of hope that he can pull out here maybe and try to get those extra points. Take him away from Wilkie.
Yeah, we got about 8 laps in this race left, Jared. And, it's a timed race, so that could change. But with these three running such great times, they just can't make up any time. I mean, he and Tanaka as well, and Stouffer. These guys all running great times.
Lane Allen also not too far back with that fresh car, 118.4 back there in 8th place, but he is about a minute behind Bergdorf. Doesn't seem likely that he'll be able to catch Bergdorf by the end of the race. But shout out to William Reinhard. He kind of took off from the beginning of the field, beginning of the race on the field, and it has been the William Reinhard show since that point in time, as he is on pace for his 3rd straight victory, and he's gone from having a season that started off pretty rocky. I mean, was in a wreck at Watkins Glen, was in a wreck at Zandvoort, and now he's come back, won at Lemans, won last week in Montreal, and now has won leading here tonight at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, man, you can't take anything away from him. You know, I really want to highlight Theo more. I don't know what more we can say about him, but I'm so impressed with what Theo Taylor's done here tonight.
Wilkie just did a 1:17.36, best lap by far, Dean, that last time.
Wow. And that, that only helps Reinhardt keep those points away from Dicesare, who was going after him. So Wilkie, there's no give up in this man. He cut that lead down to, close to 4 seconds now over like Dicesare, who's in 3rd.
And you think about it, Dean, think about how this championship would be. William Reinhart finished 19th at Watkins Glen, 19th position, and lost so many points right there in that race. Only came out of that race with about 9 points to his name. Unbelievable, his season turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing to try and come back from, but a great driver nonetheless.
Looking at Theo Taylor, Dean mentioned it, the New Zealander, consistent. The gap is 3.5 seconds now to Nick Dicesare. Nick Dicesare's given everything he's got in that car as well, Dean.
They're all. I mean, I'm just so impressed. These guys are all absolutely flying around here. Dicesare, a 1:17.97 that time by. Wilkie, again, with a 1:17.64, just murdering this track.
And there is not any time left. And I applaud Wilkie. He's been aggressive all night, but like, Dean, you talked about it before, when Dicesare went off, he lost that time. Wilkie basically is going to finish 4th unless he wrecks this car, right? I mean, unless he hits this wall, gets stuck in it like we've seen, you might as well push this thing. And if you spin out, it's over with, but you're probably going to get 4th provided you don't get damaged. So would you push it at this point?
Well, I would have up to this point. I think at this point, it's time to back off. Let someone else try and beat what was an incredible lap, a 1:17.3. Probably not going to get beat. You got those points. Like you said, you're not going to catch Dicesare unless he goes off. And if he does, you'll certainly get by him if you're around 5 seconds. So I look for Wilkie to back it down here a little bit.
We'll see what he does across the line. Reinhardt has backed down just a little bit, 1:18.2. Dicesare, Taylor's off the track.
Taylor has lost. Where is Theo Taylor?
What in the heck has just happened to Theo Taylor? We have nothing on our screen. No off track. We will try to get a replay on that.
Yeah, I'm going to go and search for it, Jared. And looks like when he was going under the underpass.
Let's see. We found it here. He's coming up off of turn 11. He gets loose and just locks it down, and then he has to skate to try to avoid the wall, and that's just enough. That's going to put Theo Taylor down to 3rd place under pressure from Wilkie.
Wow, and that Reinhardt this is a tragedy for Reinhardt, looking for those points for the championship, a gift to Dicesare, and now Wilkie's going to have to get up here and try and battle Taylor, maybe Dicesare. I don't know. It's so strange what's happened here.
Theo Taylor did a good job not hitting the wall. He is a 2.5 seconds behind Dicesare, and Wilkie is now a 2.5 seconds behind Theo Taylor. Dean, this is not over yet for Dicesare by any means. All these drivers within 3 seconds of each other now.
Well, hold on a second. Let me get my accordion or my concertina and play a little tune here, because the accordion effect is in full effect here.
Unbelievable how we have got these guys they're all on the front straightaway now, Dean. Going into turn 1 goes Wilkie. Theo Taylor is there, and everybody's going to have to put down some laps, but none of them did. They all put down 119s except Wilkie.
Wilkie's still coming. There's no give up. A 117.42 still flying. Taylor and Dicesare holding on. I mean, 3 to go. The biggest thing here that Decesare's got to be worried about is them coming up and battling with him in a possible accident.
Yeah, that would not be good. And like we said, Theo Taylor is gaining back on Dicesare, and Wilkie is gaining on Theo Taylor. So this is going to be a great little battle. There you see it on the screen, the two Porsches right there in the same turn at this point.
Oh, yeah, this is going to come down, and we're on like 2 to go here, Jared. They might get the white flag next time by. It might be one more after that.
Yeah, we're at 1 hour and 27 minutes, so I think we have about 4 laps, probably about 4 laps left. Minute 20 around here, so we're looking at about 3 to 4 laps still remaining in this race. Could be close, depending on... Oh, Wilkie locking it up into turn 10A.
That's been a constant in that turn for several drivers, locking it up there. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned with there.
Dicesare was able to pull out a little bit of a gap, breathing space on Theo Taylor, not by much, but there you go. There's your 3 drivers. This could be swing the momentum in the championship so much here as this race unfolds. Road Atlanta could be the track that does that. Dicesare leading Theo Taylor by 1.3. Taylor over Wilkie by 1 second, and we are down to 2 minutes left in the race.
My goodness, late drama here on the track. Wilkie, Taylor, Dicesare, Reinhard out here in cruise control, but these 3 could have something to go, and I think the white flag is coming out, Jared.
Oh, and Theo Taylor locks up the brakes. That he's going to put under some immense pressure from Josh Wilkie coming down the back straightaway. Side by side, coming into turn 10A. Wilkie around the outside. Taylor tries to cover off on the bottom. Dives deep in the corner. Locks up. Contact!
Contact. You almost knew it was going to happen. Nobody wanted to give there. That's unfortunate, but that's at least it wasn't Dicesare involved. At least that's what Nick is thinking. And Nick's going to, he's going to have second place now.
And that will do it for the battle. That is going to cost Josh Wilkie enough time. And Theo Taylor off the podium after being in the top 3 all night long. Wilkie this time Wilkie wasn't the aggressor. Theo Taylor just tried to outbrake him, couldn't get it done, and that is going to end the battle. But my goodness, it gave it everything.
And Jared, I believe this is the last couple of corners for William Reinhard here.
Looking here, trying to determine, yes, it does look like we're at the checker flag moment here. So William Reinhard, dominating performance, led from the beginning of the race. And he comes down into turn 10A for the final time here tonight. And that Ford, not a scratch on it, but did go off track a couple times. Theo Taylor also off track, a little bit of contact at the end. But here comes William Reinhard off turn number 12 to grab his 3rd straight victory. There it is. That actually is, yes, it is the end of the race.
It's always hard to tell. Taylor is still trying to fight back on Wilkie back here.
And there it is. I wonder if Wilkie has some damage on that machine. Here comes Wilkie off the top of the corner, off the top of the hill. Stouffer has gone off track while that's going on. Stouffer has crashed here on the last lap. Wilkie's going to hold on for 3rd place.
Wilkie knocks Theo Taylor off the podium late. Quite literally knocks him off the podium, Jared. And he's continuing to race. I don't think he wants to get hit by him.
I believe this is the white flag lap, Dean. I'm believing that's what...
It could be, and I apologize. That'd be on me, anybody watching. I was showing 0 to go. I would assume that would be the last, but yeah, it looks like we're still on 1 to go. Something could happen.
Yeah, I thought that was the white flag the flag man had, so here we go. Here's Josh Wilkie. He's got Theo Taylor all over the back bumper of him, coming down into turn 6. The battle for the final podium spot is on. Lane Allen not in the picture. He is a lap down. Taylor has to get a run out of turn number 7 here. Does a good job. He's going to get the slipstream down the back straightaway.
Wow, heading down here. He could make a move. He's not going to hold back, folks.
William Reinhard crosses the line officially. Congratulations to Reinhard. Premature the last time. Theo Taylor down into the slipstream. He's going to get around Wilkie. Will Wilkie repay the favor? Deep braking. It locks it up. There it goes. Theo Taylor around Josh Wilkie on the final corner of the race.
Good for Theo. What a move by Theo Taylor. Wilkie got into him last time around, and this time, it's him making him lock it up. So Theo Taylor on the podium. Excellent job by him.
What a job by Theo Taylor in the 777. Josh Wilkie flashing the lights. I don't know if there's any negative feeling between those two drivers after the race here, but it was a good battle between those guys, and good job for Theo Taylor grabbing the podium at the end of the race. Chris Stouffer did go off track, and it looked like the same spot as before, but he'll come home 5th position. Luke Antonakis 6th, Bergdorf 7th, Lane Allen 8th, and Richie Coy completed all the laps here tonight, or all the minutes here tonight, and will come home 9th.
Yeah, give Richie a little shout out. I mean, not out here doing much road racing in these cars at this track or anything, but he finished the race, got a nice clean looking car, so good job for Richie Coy.
Solid race here tonight. Matt Kuntz unable to get his car back out on the track after damages. Joe Flanagan out. Tony Solari and Mike Watts all failed to finish here tonight. But William Reinhard, the man of the hour, Dean, he gets it done here at the Petit Lemans.
Yeah, he does. I mean, William Reinhard, what can you say? Consistency, Jared. No mistakes. Keep saying it. I used to say things like he made a mistake. He made a pit road mistake. He made this mistake. Never. Not the last 3 races. Just nothing but solid out of this guy. Could be a championship run for him if he continues to win. He's going to close a little more ground on Nick after this race.
He sure is. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear from our top 3 finishers. All right, we're back live here at Road Atlanta, where William Reinhard comes away with the victory in dominating fashion tonight, Dean.
Wow, so impressive what he's been able to do. I mean, what he did tonight was just be the most consistent, smooth driver. He was the fourth fastest for best lap times. So that shows you the competition he had. Just that much more smooth, that much more consistent, Jared.
Exactly right, Dean, and it's been a heck of a night all around. We had a great battle with Theo Taylor and Josh Wilkie at the end. Looking at our points here tonight after the race is over, and we'll take a look and see how those standings shake out here, unofficially, of course. And you'll see it. Nick Dicesare still with the lead right now, but that gap has shrunk down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, keep pecking away at it, right? Williams pecking away, pecking away. Duchesne doing everything he needs to do. I mean, late in the race there, I mean, he did everything he could late in the race, actually getting by Taylor. Taylor made that one mistake that saved him a point or two, Jared.
For sure. Well, let's get into the interviews. And Dean, I believe you're standing down with our runner-up tonight and our point leader, Nick Dicesare.
Yeah, I got the 00, Nick Dicesare, second place here tonight. Congrats on a solid run, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see you guys again. It was a good race, pretty tough. The change in the sun really presented some different challenges there at the end of the race for breaking points, sight lines, that kind of thing. So, but it was good overall.
Yeah, and it does do that. And, the track conditions were changing slightly as well. Talk a little bit more about that, Nick. I mean, we've seen the times vary, right? There was fast times in the race. There was some slower times in the race. How did you balance that all out? And were tires ever a thought?
The tires, if the track temp stayed very high at the top, probably tires would have been more of a factor. But since the sun was setting pretty much the entire time we were racing, I think the track temp was like 110 at the start, and here right now at the end it was 87. So that's going to help a lot with grip. It's going to make you slide your tires less, and as the fuel burns off, we definitely got as fast as fresh tires, or maybe a little bit faster. Looks like everybody improved on their time on low fuel conditions. So.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the race, everybody absolutely flying. None more than Wilkie, him and Taylor getting together. I wish we had Taylor in here to talk about that, but nonetheless, I digress. Nick, let's go into something I normally never get a chance to talk to you about, and that is a mistake. You made a mistake tonight. I don't know if we've ever seen it from you. I mean, I'm sure you made one, but a little incident there. You lost about 10 seconds during that little episode.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's perfect, and I've definitely made my fair share of mistakes. Maybe not spinouts, but definitely I've had some pit road issues this season, last season, the season before. I can't seem to learn my lesson there. But yeah, I got a little bit behind, a little bit lost at the top of the hill. I ended up too far to the left. Then I ended up having to turn in late, which made me slide into the grass on the exit through the cones. And I think I probably could have not spun out, but I would have ended up broadside right in the middle of the track, and Theo would have had nowhere to go. So I just let the brakes off so I could roll away a little bit, and it cost me a little bit more time, but I was able to live to fight on.
Wow, I'm so glad I asked that question now, because it kind of just shows, what a championship driver does, thinking about the outcome. A guy, you could have stopped, you could have tried to shorten up that penalty, if you will, but deciding the safer route was to go through the track and complete the spin, and just a great decision. You look at the championship. William Reinhardt, man, he is on a roll, 3 in a row here, Nick. I don't know what we can do to stave this guy off, but you are doing everything you can with these second place finishes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to win. Will is very fast. He has like an extra, tenth and a half, 2/10, 3/10 that I can't quite get out of the same car, and it's tough because you see the same car going a little bit faster. He's got the same setup and everything, and you can't quite get that last little bit. it's a little frustrating, but you can only drive as fast as you can drive. So I got to worry about what I can do. And, second place, they call it first loser, but I can, I can handle second places. If he's going to win, I'll take second.
Invoking a little Ricky Bobby there almost, but nonetheless, I want to let you know too, Rick, William had the fourth fastest lap tonight. So you guys have the speed. He's what he's found is just some consistency, something you're great at as well. We got faith in you, man. You're a great driver. You're a great representative, and still in the championship lead, man. You do not think that he is untouchable. He's doing a great job. We have great admiration for him, but no more than for you, Nick. Congrats again. It was a great race and a great finish here in second place.
Yeah, and thanks. Don't sell him short. I mean, he was the fourth fastest lap by, he was a tenth away
Oh,
from
yeah.
being the second fastest lap. Josh was, I think he was driving with a little bit of anger after qualifying, so he had us by a couple tenths. But the top three, we were within a tenth. But yeah, it was a pleasure out there. I'm happy for the team. I'm happy to be leading the championship. Obviously, it's we still got a ways to go. I don't know if I can win just by finishing second. But we'll start the calculators up, see if we can figure it out.
Well, I was going to wrap this up, but you bring up something. I mean, next week your home track, I believe. Nick, you looking forward to that one?
I think I
Or
haven't
two?
I haven't run any races or practice there yet, but I think that's probably a track that's going to really suit the Porsches more than the Ford. That's just a guess. I haven't done any sessions with my teammate to see, but I would predict that the Porsches are probably going to be faster, but that's going to be a tough track for everybody. It's tight. They call it, a short track road course, like it's like Bristol of road courses. So it's going to be intense, I'm sure.
I'm sure it will be. It always is. Even when we have lulls, we have all this, everybody accordions back up, and there's always intense moments, almost having some at the end with the two behind you getting into each other. But another great race, Nick. So, any shout outs you want to give, anybody you want to thank, now's the time, brother.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to the league. It's been a blast so far this season. I'm sure the rest of the races will be great. I want to, my teammate had a tough race, so I just want to say he's still got the speed. He's just got to get the confidence back a little bit, and I'm sure he'll be right up there next week. And same with everybody else. So see you guys.
All right, Nick. Jared, that is Nick Dicesare in the 00, finishing second place tonight.
I've caught up with our top step on the podium, William Reinhard, grabbing his third straight win. What more can I say, William? Congratulations, man.
Thank you, Jared.
My goodness, William, you started off the race, you grabbed the pole, and it was pretty much smooth sailing for you. But Nick Dicesare kept you honest throughout the beginning part of that race.
Yeah, I knew coming in I couldn't make it for the Friday practice, and Josh kind of updated me on the times, and we went out and did some practice of our own afterwards, and I was feeling a little bit confident coming into the race. Doing good in qualifying was a good start, and I knew kind of as we got into the race, I knew Nick would be very focused on saving his tires as he always is. So I knew either I could try and kind of make the gap and see if he'd try and follow me, or just kind of keep the car going as fast as I could, and until the end of the race, and hopefully there would be enough room there if he started gaining back on me that I'd still be able to get the win. But that little mistake that he made there in the race kind of gave me a little bit of a breather.
Well, you were able to be so consistent. I mean, we were talking to Nick. You turned in the fourth fastest lap of the race, but it was the consistency that did it. How did you keep your focus going the whole time in that race?
Yeah, I mean, what it really came down to for just keeping my focus was just staying focused on what just like the next turn coming around on track. I think a real big part of my consistency was always being able to get through the ending chicane and then up through turns 2 and 3 up at the start of the track there, being able to kind of get through those in a nice manner without getting off the track at all too much or locking up. So it really helped with the consistency there, and I could kind of manage everything else. But really, it was just kind of keeping my eyes on what's in front of me rather than worrying about what's around me.
Yeah, exactly right, William. And then, you go through the pit stops, you start to pull a little bit, get a gap on Nick in that race. But then, Nick Dicesare at that time had the fastest lap. Now, he only had it for about 10 or 15 minutes before somebody else took it away from him. But was that something that was on your conscience, knowing that that was 2 additional points that you could get out of the race tonight if you were able to grab that fastest lap?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't overly worried about it. Getting some extra points would have been nice, but I was just I really wanted to focus on being consistent and being able to hold the car together for the entire race, because this track can kind of eat through your tires if you're not careful on it. So once I was kind of getting into those low fuel areas, I was kind of pushing the car and seeing what I could get, but it just didn't seem worthwhile pushing the car as much as I have to get that fastest lap. And so I just decided to kind of leave that behind me and focus on getting the win.
Well, you did a great job here, William. Now, looking at the points unofficially, 27 points separate you and Nick Dicesare. 2 weeks from now, heading to Nick's home race up there at Lime Rock Park. How are you feeling heading into Lime Rock? And then we also have several other races after that could really swing the championship balance as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of keeping my focus off Lime Rock. Sadly, I'm not going to be in town for it. So my eyes are focusing on everything else that's going to be there ahead of us in the schedule. I've never raced at Barber Motorsports, which is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge, kind of getting over that. Mount Panorama is a circuit I've done a lot, especially some endurance events. And then Suzuka, I've also put in a lot of work there. So I'm focusing on the tracks ahead. Lime Rock, it's a really short track. I'm betting that if Nick's got the pace, he's probably going to win it. So not much I'll be able to do about that. So I'll just have to keep my eyes on the remainder of the schedule from there.
Well, William, congratulations on grabbing your 3rd straight victory. I'm going to turn it over to you and let you have the final word here tonight and give out any shout-outs you have.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out. My grandpa, he just had his birthday on Friday, and I know he's going to be watching this and having a good time. And then I also want to give a huge shout out to Josh. Really sad that he couldn't be able to take that 3rd place there at the end. He really made a huge crawl up from 11th on the starting grid after he had some really bad technical difficulties in qualifying. And then also, again, as always, just want to give a shout out to you and Dean. You guys are doing great work, and I appreciate you guys here broadcasting for us.
All right, Dean. Well, that was Josh Wilkie. That was William Reinhard. Apologies. Shouting out Josh Wilkie there at the end, grabbing a victory here. 3rd straight win for William Reinhard.
Man, oh man, so impressive. And you hear the way he's talking and everything. He's got a great attitude. I love what we're seeing out of William Reinhardt. And if anybody can catch Dicesare, it's going to be him. He's got to keep it up though, Jared. I think he's got to basically sweep the table here. So he's got a long road ahead.
For sure. Well, the next race is in 2 weeks at Lime Rock Park, and I'm sure it's going to be a great event. But that's going to do it here for tonight. For Dean Doucette, for Jared Carr, myself, Road Atlanta. We're going to see you guys out on the track as the season continues on. Catch us on Monday night or Sunday night. We have some championship racing action, and we're going to have all that there on Full Throttle TV as we wrap up tonight. But that's going to do it from Road Atlanta. We will see you guys out on the track.